Yeah, okay. I'll look at the FD Signifier video, man. It's, again, like, my position, but my priors on this are pretty clear. Like, it just seems to me like sorry, I was about to say JD Vance. SD Signifier does racial grievance politics from an anti-white perspective. That doesn't mean everything he says is wrong. He often has good takes. It's just like, that seems to be a biased, unexamined. Like, much in the same way that there were plenty of super influential, intelligent, and still kind of racist socialists in the late 19th century, you know, like a really common recurring pattern. Marx probably had some bad takes. I think Marx had some bad takes on Jewish people as well, because he was a little bit self-hatey there or whatever. Anyway, I don't know. It's not that he's like 100% bad. It's just like, that's the vibe I get, I guess.
I'm
It
putting
feels
all white
it's all
leftists
Hillary Clinton coded to me, I suppose, but
on timeout until further notice. I've been hanging around y'all too long, and now I have lice. And black people shouldn't get lice.
that sucks.
That it doesn't work like. And aside from Zoran Mamdani, you kind of see what's happening here. All we're missing is Hank Hill. Like, the main, mostly valid argument that I will get about Platner is that he's one of the few folks amongst the Democrats that vows to pull military support from Israel.
Not a single taxpayer dollar should be spent on arming and defending a country that commits a genocide.
And that is extremely important.
Marx didn't dislike Jewish people that much, but he was very afraid of gay people. Many such cases. Aren't we all?
For Palestinian liberation. But I do have to ask, why are we being asked to not just tolerate Platner for that reason, but to see him almost as the future of the Democratic Party?
By the way, this is something I've noticed in this style of rhetoric, that they always say stuff like, why are we being asked to blank? Like, I don't know who you're listening to or whatever, but I dislike it because it frames this as a personal grievance. Like, it's about your relationship to the discourse rather than about being about Platner himself. You know what I mean? Like, if you have a position on Platner, say the position on Platner, but like, how does one argue against or in favor of this nebulous, like, dialectic between people and the community? The community can be anything you want, man. The community, the community is an abstract enemy that can be reshaped to suit your rhetorical needs at any point. You can say the community is hyper woke or reactionary. You can say the community is overly deferential or under deferential to any group you want. It's millions of people, you know?
Maybe even the left. Why has he become the darling of the online predominantly white left in this time frame? Why did the fight agency scout him in the first place?
Well, because he's like a nobody proletarian who rose from obscurity to end up beating the corrupt Democrat former governor establishment pick Mills, and looks like he's going to take a Senate seat from a Republican. It's pretty exceptional.
It's because the fight agency knows that this image of white American exceptionalism and especially masculinity is still highly valued amongst the white masses.
It's so much. It's always race baiting. I don't even know. It's always race. It's never like. It is very woke one. It is very woke one.
Doing a reskin of the Marlboro Man, or better yet, like Don Draper, Joel Miller from The Last of Us. Literally, he looks like Walter White. And I want you to...
In what way is Platner like Don Draper, besides them both being white? This is just... Okay. Okay.
Remember, all of these characters were villains. And his halfway decently developed racial analysis. And this is just... Capitalism, the Negro question is a grave one. And I'm bringing this up because I want to show that and isn't a very vulnerable out just for y'all. If you want to vote for Platner as an odious candidate that will help end military support to Israel, go ahead. But it should be treated as a tainted compromise for the sake of a free Palestine, not a vision for the future of the left.
But why doesn't he like Platner?
He should not be in our faces as much as he is.
Like, I know I skipped a bunch there, but like, cut me some slack. Why doesn't he like Platner? I just want to know. Like, it's fine to have reasons to not like Platner. I just want to know, like, what the reasons are. No, seriously, how do you justify his invader past? What do you mean? The fact that Platner served with the military and was a mercenary? That he was like a vet chud? I don't know what you mean. I don't justify it. It was bad. What? But even the framing there is weird to me. How do you justify? I feel like that implies something kind of weird about the relationship between me and Platner's history. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to sell you as him as a morally pure candidate to you or whatever. Like, yeah, Graham Platner doesn't try to justify it either. It's not like he's going up to the cameras and being like, nah, dog, the Iraq war was based. I love being a mercenary. You know what I mean? Like, and so I guess, like, in what context am I being asked to defend it? I think it's bad. I don't want to defend it. You know, he intentionally went to Iraq and Afghanistan multiple times. Yeah, that's what professional soldiers do. They go to war multiple times and called it fun. Yeah, that's also something soldiers do. He's worse than Mills. And now you've lost me. Mills is openly and unambiguously in favor of a genocide. She has used her political power and will continue to use her political power to defend actual existing Nazism. She represents the rot in DC. She's also like a million years old. The fact that Platner was like a chud military boy, but now regrets it, I just don't see. Again, it's the conflation of like lifelong moral purity with good positions. In a consequentialist sense, Platner being in office as a senator is way better than Mills being in office as a senator. So I don't really know what we're arguing about. Like, Mills didn't go to war, I guess. Yeah, I'm sure she's like an 80-year-old woman. I mean, I don't know. If she had gone to war, would that make a difference? You skipped the part where he talked about further left black politicians currently running that the online left aren't talking about as much. Okay, sorry, Tempest, I'm not going after you here. It's just that, like, it's such a non-discussable talking point. Like, why is... For one, I have no idea what the black population is in Maine. It's probably not huge. I could be wrong on that. But it's... You could... This is a non-falsifiable complaint that you could always employ. You know what I mean? Like, what percentage of black politicians should I support? I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't really understand. Well, here's a good white politician, but here's a black... Like, why is it a tainted compromise to support Platner because he's white? I guess. Because he's not, like, a black senatorial candidate. If there was a black senatorial candidate in Maine who had a shot of beating, like, Collins, I would also support them. If they were good, right? Like, if they had good politics like Platner does, not if they had bad politics like Mills. Just explain the part you skipped. Okay, so Tempest, did you see this video on your own? 3% of Maine is black? Okay, yeah. I watched the first part. Okay, gotcha. I just don't want to... It's just, would you vote for an ex-IDF soldier who committed war crimes if he ran for office and pretended to be anti-Israel? Are you suggesting that Platner is pretending to be anti-Israel? I'll answer your question. I'll answer the good faith version of your question. If a former IDF soldier participated in, like, bad military conflicts or whatever, but then, like, had to come to Jesus, well, okay, not come to Jesus. It's not about their faith. You know what I mean? Turned around and were like, hold on, Israel's actually a genocidal ethno-state and the stuff that I did was bad, then yeah, of course I'd support them. Isn't that like, aren't those historically like the most politically powerful people anyway? Like, what does lifelong purity mean to you? You know what I mean? Aren't we talking about like the ideal, like the former agent of the machine who realized they were serving evil and turned around and is now a warrior against it? Isn't that like narratively a really powerful force to use? Because then you can pull over more people. You know what I mean? And what's the alternative? Like, should I then support the actually pro-Israel candidate because the anti-Israel candidate used to serve the idea? I just don't understand. I don't get it. Look at anti-war veterans coming back from Vietnam. Yeah, I feel like they were like some of the loudest voices in the left in the 60s and 70s, the like former Vietnam War veterans. To this day, they still are like a large bulwark of them. But like, I guess, like if they came back from war and we'd just be like, well, fuck you, well, I guess a lot of them would have been drafted. What if they volunteered? What if they volunteered and then they came back and they were like, holy shit, that was like nothing. What if they came back and they were like, man, I thought war would be like World War II or whatever, when we fight off evil, but it turns out it's just like throwing grenades into village huts. It's more a question of, do you trust them in their change? I have no reason to believe that Platner is secretly like pro-Iraq war. Like, it's all coming back, Joyce. I think there's no reason to believe that. I have no idea why I would doubt him on that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he's secretly a pro-Iraq, pro-Afghanistan war vet or whatever. I don't know why he would be like that.
Not have the defenders that he has that I know will show up in his comment section. He should be the online left's sneaky link that you never see in the light of day and never talk about in public. And the fact why that so many white leftists don't feel this is sadly par for the course. The red flags that he has don't bother some of y'all because those red flags have never been weaponized against you. But when you're someone who's historically been
It reminds me of how Contra talked about Gaza a little bit.
Targeted by this archetype, you pay attention to those patterns. You don't compromise with that. For reasons I won't get into, I've had to spend the last few weeks arguing that normalizing Nazi terminology, but wokely, is bad and that no one on the left should be doing it. And I've had some, not many, I want to be clear, but plenty of white leftists try to argue that nobody.
It's always race based. It's like every it's like it literally like control F white in the it's every video, every political position all the time is here's why the white people on the left are doing something bad. It's crazy. It's not even like it's necessarily a bad topic. It's just like he genuinely talks about it more than like neo-Nazis talk about Jews or white nationalists talk about black people. Like it's such an incredibly powerful theme in the content.
Cares about Nazis as if a couple of Nazis didn't just shoot up a mosque in San Diego just a few weeks ago.
But what are we talking about? Is he implying that people who support Platner also are okay with the San Diego mosque shooters? I don't like it makes no sense if you think about it for any length of time. But he arrives at this line by abstracting the point to now like supporting Platner, the progressive anti-Zionist Democratic Senate candidate, means that you're okay with Nazi symbols, which means you're okay with Nazism, which means you're okay with the San Diego mosque shooting, which is like, again, like it doesn't make any sense.
Or the fact that that exact type of Nazi terrorism happens like every 6 to 18 months in America. And it's impossible to remain in community or struggle with people who don't seem to mind that.
Really think about what he's saying here. He's suggesting that white leftists, the white leftist community, doesn't mind Nazi terror attacks. It's deranged. It's completely deranged. What the fuck? I have never in my life seen a white leftist be like, oh, the San Diego mosque shooting, well, I'm fine with that. I've never seen this. Never once. It's crazy.
Always put themselves first, especially when the struggle isn't about them in the first place. And after half a decade online, I'm tired of seeing this pattern.
Well, Kowalski, he doesn't like really have good politics on that. Like this, he's doing bad politics right now too. Like these are pretty bad arguments.
And repeating these same complaints. But the problem is that this entire space has always catered to a specific type of white guy online. And that's what it was built for and what it always probably will be. See,
the fucked up thing too is like he's right. Like there are some negative social consequences of the left in America being predominantly white. I mean, America's predominantly white, so the left in America is going to be predominantly white, which means there are going to be biases carried over. It's not fundamentally an illegitimate topic at all. There's like plenty of good, meat to that engagement or whatever, to that subject. FD's been under attack by Bad Empanada fans who downplay Nazism. Okay, then go after Bad Empanada. What the fuck does that do with white? Is Bad Empanada even white? I don't know what that has to do with white leftists. There's like a lot of people in that category. Like, how does that's crazy. Would you accept that in any other context? Like if a nebulously black person was bad to me, then I made a bunch of takes about how I'm leaving the left because of black leftists or something. I don't know, man.
RedTube emerged as a venue to rehabilitate.
Like if he's beefing with some white leftists, why make it about the whole goddamn movement? White leftists, that like depending on where you draw the line, it's like millions of people. There is a layer of the dark woke types that seem to be really eager to be racist to minorities they don't like, but he's not talking about that. He just said that people on the left who are white who support Platner are the reason why, or like aligned with white leftists who don't mind occasional neo-Nazi shootings, which is insane. That's an insane thing to say. You can't like charitably engage with that. It's like the only way you can make that make sense is by lying about what he believes, basically, which I'm not willing to do on his behalf because I think it's a toxic influence. That's not what he said or meant. Ramsel, we're all watching the same video, Ramsel. You're funneling it through a charitable like layer here, just like you did to that fucking liberal consultant woman on CNN because of their race. But I'm not racist, so I just take people at their word, you know. Someone's feeling spicy. I can I be real with you? I actually don't think I've said anything even remotely spicy at all. And I don't want to at all. Because I don't care. The country is getting raped to death by, let's be real here, white pedophiles. I'm not interested in like a protracted discourse on the political biases of maybe two overly online like black leftists or whatever. I think this stuff he's saying is crazy. That's all.
Right-wing edgelords into leftist progressives, all after the rise of the alt-right. It has always had an extremely high tolerance for what Graham Platner is, because he just like them for real. And while not every aspect of BreadTube has catered to this reformed edgelord Reddit troll
BreadTube
archetype, it's clear that this element of the space remains influential and often sets the tone for the space. Because even if these types don't make up the largest part of our audiences, they're almost always the loudest part, always the most online and the most active of the bunch. So let's talk about some drama for a bit. For years, I have not responded to drama publicly, and any drama from other creators who are seen in the same light. I would love to be not put limitations on how colonized people fight their oppressors. So no, I won't condemn Hamas the same way I wouldn't condemn the Mau Mau's in Kenya or the Nat Turner slave rebellions or the Haitian Revolution or the IRA in Ireland. All of these entities were called terrorists at the time of their existence by their oppressors, and all are recognized as liberation movements today, despite the ugliness those movements may have existed in.
It's actually complicated.
And I believe Hamas will eventually be seen in the same light.
He supports the IRA. Maybe he takes a 19th century perspective. He thinks of Irish as black people.
Would love if violence didn't have to occur. And there are anti-colonial movements that do happen to occur with the minimal violence, but it's not fair to call any anti-colonial violence senseless, because it is a direct response to the condition that the colonized are living under. And the thing to keep in mind is rappers in the world low-key say free Palestine way back in 2000. Palestine videos, especially 2 years ago, were very popular. Sean's Palestine video 2 years ago is his second where I wasn't already somewhat of an expert on the topic.
How's this relevant to Platner? I mean, it's the same as every one of his videos. He's just talking about white people. He just has grievances with the behavior of white people. It's the same video every time. Platner's just like the title and the thumbnail. Maybe he talks about Platner again. I'm looking for
hero for oppressed people to make up for his past sins. And mind you, every piece of anti-colonial liberation theory that you will ever read will tell you that the colonized must free themselves, but don't tell that to your favorite bread tuber or
it's like there's never more than an 8-second gap, man. It's every fucking, they could skip to any point in any video and it's like, hey, just so you know, I have problems with white leftists, is every single time. Oh my god, it's genuinely like the most racial grievance based political content I've ever seen in any channel, including the alt-right channels that used to infest YouTube. And I'm not kidding. Like, at least the alt-right channels would talk about anime sometimes.
Favorite BreadTube fan, because they'll swear that it
still calls it BreadTube. Nobody does. Nobody calls it BreadTube. He's just been recycling the same grievances for years and years and years.
Them, that's the key to liberation for insert other group here. But further, Platner shows the failure of the American left presenting a principled...
Oh, fuck. He didn't say American white left. He was thinking it, but he didn't say it.
Anti-Zionist stance to a larger general public. I've noticed in my personal life and online that there's been a rise in what I'm going to describe...
FD Signifier does movie reviews. Yeah, and he should do those then.
As America First anti-Zionism. And normally when I make up a new term, I want credit for it, but please do not repeat. I'm positive there is somebody more worthy, some actual Palestinian scholar that is...
This is like again, it's a non-talking point. Like if you don't have a criticism of a person, you can just be like, well, shouldn't you be talking about someone else? It doesn't mean anything. It's infinitely applicable. There's no if, ands, or buts about it. There's no way to engage with it. It's just like, do I think in the abstract we should all pay more attention to the to progressive non-white people in America? Yeah, fuck yeah, sure. I mean, I still like Platner. I don't know. I don't know. You're not going to believe what he mentions in the movie reviews? Yeah, probably. I'm not going to tell you what race gets brought up in the FD Signifier movie reviews. It's the white race. It's the white race. It is. It is the white race. You know it.
Saying the exact same thing I'm saying. So like find them and give them credit for that term. But Platner is a perfect example of what that is, because while he does claim to want to stop aid from Israel, he also wants to improve.
FD is not conservative. You're nuts. He is reactionary, but no, he's not. He's not conservative. His politics seem to be at least heavily informed by racial animus, which is bad. But thankfully, the racial animus that he's being informed by is the not harmful kind, or the relatively less harmful kind, right? Like white supremacist racial animus is incredibly powerful and has like tens of billions in capital backing it every election cycle, obscenely powerful, right? Whereas black supremacist or I guess anti-white racial animus is a relatively innocuous. It still doesn't lead to good analysis though, you know? That being said, you should always be suspicious of people who equivocate like harm-wise, because like obviously that's not like very few people are being hurt in any material way by black supremacy in America. That's like just not a powerful political force, you know?
Military recruitment. So he is not against American imperialism like you might think, which undermines any anti-Israeli stance he holds. And that's
no? What? I just disagree, I guess. I don't know. Like I think you could argue it's hypocritical in a kind of like general chud way. He's anti-military industrial complex. I don't know what statements he's made specifically on like recruitment. Does anyone know? What has he said to that effect? Like, has Platner said, you know, I don't like going to war for Israel, but I do think you should enlist? He wants Maine to build more ships? Well, sure. I mean, American shipbuilding would be nice. It might be the shipbuilding thing. Is that it? But the shipbuilding thing is fine. I think he's spoken positively about a service. Yeah, I guess we're being very deliberately vague here.
Typical of pretty much all the Democrats right now. The sad reality is that the Democratic Party and the alleged progressive leaders in America have allowed themselves to be outmaneuvered on Zionism by the likes of Tucker Carlson and
this is just Republican propaganda. The idea that Tucker Carlson has outflanked the Democrats is true, but they have not outflanked the left flank of the Democrats. That's just a lie. The idea that Tucker Carlson or Marjorie Taylor Greene are outflanking Mamdani on progressivism is absolutely not true.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, who, unlike anti-Zionists on the left, are in fact obvious anti-Semites. Tucker Carlson is a crypto white supremacist who has spent years trying to normalize the Great Replacement theory, and Marjorie Taylor Greene is a former QAnon adherent who brought us Jewish space lasers and believes in blood light. Yet both are being mainstreamed in a way that I wouldn't have thought possible just a few years ago. People like Carlson and Greene have infinitely more reach and influence than any of your favorite bread tubers.
Bread tubers, man. Yeah, that's true, because one of them was literally the top pundit at Fox News for decades, and the other one was a congresswoman. And breadtube is an antiquated term describing a bunch of YouTubers. They're not more influential than Mamdani. Like, if we want to compare apples to apples, I guess, Mamdani's only a mayor. Like, he's not a congressman or a top primetime news pundit, but he's pretty influential, right?
And thus they have been able to frontline this American first anti-Zionism.
You're really quiet compared to your... Oh, yeah, I have my PC audio turned up because when we were talking to Katie yesterday, I had to turn her up so far. Okay, I've normalized the audio now. It should sound a little bit more normal.
And it's become a popular position. It feels like for the first time ever, and this is a good thing, and I'll explain why in a second, anti-Zionism is a popular sentiment to hold. But anti-Zionism that is America first is letting America off the hook for its role in that genocide.
There's an element of truth here. There's a good point to pursue here, but I think it's complicated is the issue. It really depends on what you mean by America first. By the way, I just want to say, like, I hope what I'm doing right now doesn't come across as drama content, because I'm so burnt out on that shit. Like, I think FD Signifier is often a moron. I'm engaging with his positions and what I consider good faith. What bothers me isn't when people disagree with me. It's when, because every time I cover a video like this, there are people who are, like, accusing me of engaging with his positions in good faith, and I think you are huffing it. I think you're like deep in the copium mines the canary is long dead. It just bothers me sometimes because I feel like a lot of people are engaging in bad faith themselves by refusing to consider the merits of my positions and treating all of this like drama. I think what FD Signifier is doing is drama here, because he's gotten in like a beef with fucking Tabernacle and Bad Empanada and Noah Samson or whatever. There's some kind of like drama there, and he's turned this into yet another screed on the evils of white leftism or whatever. But I'm just trying to engage with the position, I guess. I don't know. It's not like a secret that I dislike him. Anyway, yeah, the America First thing's kind of complicated, I guess. I think that there are ways of doing it poorly and ways of doing it well, I suppose. Obviously, the first priority of an American politician is going to be their constituents. That's kind of how politics works. But the framing for it is pretty important. I think the key to me for Platner is that Platner does not A, frame America as a victim of Israel, because that's cope, that's bullshit. And, excuse me, and B, sorry, I don't know why, the Gatorade gives me the burps. And B, Platner is not an isolationist. Platner doesn't talk about, like, why America needs to pull away from the world. You know what I mean? Like, I think leftists should be in favor of US aid. I think that the fact that Elon directly killed millions of people by cutting that aid is bad. I think it's bad when millions die for no reason, I guess, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Platner doesn't give me like the warning signs of an American chauvinist, is what I'm saying. He does have that chud pro-military bent to him, and I think that there is an element of hypocrisy there, but I also think it's, take it or leave it, it is a component of an authentic, messy personality. You know what I mean? It's an expression of his identity, which is often riddled with inconsistency, not like a consultant or means tested position. He seems authentic to me. Not to interrupt, but Jasmine Crockett just endorsed Xavier Becerra because of course she did. Yeah, makes sense. Unsurprising.
Had a lot of people, both online and in my encounters in real life, smart people say something along the lines of, Israel is controlling America. And no, the tail does not wag the dog. Israel is a settler colonial project built on genocide and mass murder. America is a settler colonial project built on genocide and mass murder, among
I think that conflating Israel and America in this regard is stupid and anti-intellectual, but obviously, yeah, America is doing what it's doing because it wants to do it. It's not doing it because it's a victim of Israeli occupation or whatever. America is not a current settler colonial project. We did it. We settled. We colonized. The American political and economic sort of bent is no longer committed towards those projects because we won. In Israel, it's like 100% of the weight right now.
Other things. Game recognized game. There are, of course, Zionists in American government and plenty of Zionists who are at the helm of powerful American institutions. And our current president does seem uniquely compromised in his ability to not be influenced, not just by Israel, but everyone. Like, it's everybody.
Trump is extremely susceptible to everyone around him. He's incredibly easy to influence. He has a big ego and he's difficult to manage because but he's like he literally like sells pardons. Netanyahu gets him to, it's a weird MAGA talking point.
Gets a piece of our president, but please believe that confluence of power between Israel and Zionists in America is not some secret, like, mystical thing. That's just how power and capitalists have always worked. One example of this America First anti-Zionism is, like, people often say America was forced or tricked into a war with Iran due to Israel, but this ignores the history of hostility that America has had with Iran. Iran, as a sovereign, strong nation, has been able to withstand American influence and thus impedes on America's dominance of that region and the resources that Iran controls, even with Israel sitting at Iran's doorstep. And Israel, because of its Zionist nature, has always wanted to attack Iran, along with everyone else in that region for years. But for the longest, America has not allowed them to, because most American presidents fully understood that we probably—
everything he's saying here is completely correct. Yeah.
Can't win a war with Iran, which, if you're paying attention, is clearly correct. But that doesn't mean that we didn't desire to do the exact same thing Israel did. This is why you see so many other American politicians wanting more action from America in Iran, low key on both sides of the aisle. America has not just allowed, but has encouraged Israel to be exactly what it is for decades at this point. It's just that this time around, Palestinians were able to show the world what is happening to them. And I want to be clear, Palestinians do not care and should not care how they get free or who in America is going to bring them to that point. If they get free because of a right-wing regime,
Well, I mean, I mean, of course they should, right? Like to whatever political force potentially frees Palestine. Obviously, Palestinians should care what it is and what they're doing and how they do it. But I mean, like, because the details are really important there for Palestinian people too.
Ushered in by Tucker Carlson, decides to act on their innate hatred of Jewish people and pull support from Israel, that's an us problem. That's not a them problem. There's a great short essay from Laith Marouf. Again, I apologize if I got that wrong, where he's responding to a recent interview where Norm Finkelstein basically says exactly what I'm saying here. But Marouf comes back to reiterate that none of that is a Palestinians' concern. Marouf
kind of pedantic. Well, no, it's pretty important. Yeah, in the long run, the difference between a Palestine that's freed by like an internationalist, principled, anti-colonial effort to like rein in Israel is very, very different from a Palestine that is freed because American neo-Nazis take over and cut aid to Israel. Like the former path is probably a better one for Palestinians, right? Because you like ideally you wouldn't want them to be out on their own. Yeah, it's the same reason why like a two-state solution is insufficient, because what happens if you give Palestine its own state? Israel invades it. It would, like, that's day two. Day one is they get the state. Day two is it gets invaded, you know? Ramsel, you can't keep doing this, man. You can't keep lived experience. Lived experience is the most like 2016 Hillary Clinton cuck language in the universe, okay? There's no lived experience. There's right and wrong positions. If a person is telling you about their personal, like, I wouldn't argue with FD Signifier on like whether or not his high school teachers were racist to him. That's a lived experience. That's what lived experience means. It means the experience that he's lived. I wouldn't argue with him on that unless he said something like that I knew was wrong, I guess. I don't know. Like, that's what a lived experience is. Right now, we're talking about Platner in Palestine. That's not lived experience. We're just talking about the world. He and I are both equal residents of the world. You know, we both equally occupy the earthly coil.
Says literally, why is it so hard to believe that America first could actually be Israel last? So if the left, and by that, I don't just mean us here on YouTube, although we are somewhat to blame, if the left can't present a crystal clear principle stance against Zionism to combat the nationalistic and ultimately fascist version that's taking a hold everywhere, including somewhat on the left, then we're fucked and we deserve it. So again,
I don't understand what this is in reference to. I think Platner is a pretty principled anti-Zionist.
To Chris Robb and Charles Booker, I guess. I'll leave some links on how to support them in the description. But the bottom line is how we get anti-Zionism into our government is our business. If it takes hold in a way that is not good for Black people, gay people, Muslims, etc., is only good for these white folks that like to act like Nazis online. At the end of the day, that's our problem, not Palestinians. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. What I want to make clear is that if you pin all the atrocities Israel is committing right now on them secretly controlling America to help them out, then you miss the fact that Israel and America's imperial interests are one and the same 99% of the time. And even seeing that as advocating for a free Palestine is short-sighted, because while Zionism couldn't function effectively without American aid, they would still be there in that region doing something horrible to those people, the same way America is doing horrible things to people all over the world right now, not just in Palestine, but in
if you're being drowned, you don't take the time to worry about who pulls you out of the water in that exact moment. I just don't understand what bearing this has in reality. Like, these aphorisms are cute. They're great on a bumper sticker. But, like, in reality, in the long run, when we talk about Palestinian liberation or just, like, preventing Israel from starting World War III in the Middle East, obviously, like, there's a lot of nuance and tact with regard to how exactly you would advance that, you know? Israel is a powerful, wealthy, nuclear-armed nation with incredibly close ties to American industry, politics, and you know, just society broadly. Like, yeah, of course, it's like a difficult, protracted battle. It's just like, at the end of the day, it seems like we're always coming back to the same central thesis, which is like, you know, white leftists are bad. I don't really understand what the drive is, I suppose. Like, we're all anti-Zionist here. Platner's anti-Zionist. I don't really understand what the specific criticism is.
Cuba, Venezuela, Sudan, the Congo, all of these places where there are global calamities going on, comes back to us in some form or fashion. And this is not to say that Zionism doesn't have its own specific interests, or that it doesn't have nukes, or that it was not still doing Zionism before it had America's help. But understand, the relationship between Israel and America is one of mutual benefit, not some type of mind control that's happening from afar.
That's true. Though it's obvious, like, it's not really mutual benefit, right? Like, what Israel's doing isn't actually benefiting Israel, and what America's doing isn't benefiting America, you know? Like, the Israeli and American adventurism in the Middle East is no more beneficial to the populations of those countries than did the population of England benefit from the king waging a 100-year war. Like, the colonialism disproportionately benefits the upper margins of society. Like, I know the average American is in no way benefiting from the shit we're doing in the Middle East. Everything is about transferring capital upwards, and capital is international. Doesn't really benefit Americans. This is a point I've emphasized before, and I'm always really clear in it. I don't think racism benefits the dominant racial class. Like, I don't think white people actually benefited in any way from racism or slavery. Even though America got free labor out of it, I genuinely don't think it made white Southerners like better in like a development index or like moral or like general happiness way. I think that overall the quality of society is worsened for its inequality. I think inequality hurts everyone. It just hurts the people at the top the least. Much in the same way that ultra wealthy people are rarely happy. You know, I think that an equal society where people work together is better for everyone, which is why I don't think white people are hurt at all by like anti-racism. I think they benefit from it, you know? I don't think like the knowledge that black people in Africa are dying because we cut USA does not in any way benefit white Americans, like not even slightly. In fact, racism is almost always employed deliberately by the capital class, by the moneyed interests, as a way of distracting racist white people from the fact that their conditions are getting worse. White man, don't join that union. There are blacks there, etc., etc. We're still doing it to this day. Latin people are stealing our jobs. Really? Are they? Or is it just not enough? Like, are they actually? Because the increased labor supply in America should also increase the demand for labor. Economists are consistent on this. Like, there is no stealing jobs. If they live here, they need services here. If they need services here, that means that more jobs are produced for their existence. They're lowering the cost, the cost of wages. They're lowering the wages for everyone else. For one, no, that's just factually wrong. And for two, if it was, the wages are being lowered by the capital owners. Like, this is all solvable. Anyway, I just like, I think it's always important to remember literally everyone benefits from an equal society, in my opinion.
And the reason why I connect that conspiratorial framing of Zionism back to a lot of white folks, white liberals, white leftists, is because...
You hadn't mentioned white leftists in a while. You jinxed it, socialist gun nut.
Because it allows them to remain virtuous and not reflect on America's own history of genocide and how they fit into it. It's a framing to allow them to still be the heroes of the day, even when they're literally the villains. It allows them, like a grand partner, to say,
hey, I might have been part of the problem, but now I'm going to be part of the solution.
And all this other shit, just ignore it. Just pay no attention.
I don't know what position he's referring to. It's just a vague generalization. I don't know what he's referring to. I think it's because Platner wants to increase military spending. Does he?
To the other things that clearly say that this is not the case. In short, this is white savior shit. A lot of it.
Platner firmly opposes increasing U.S. military spending. He advocates for redirecting taxpayer money away from... But he's so vague, you never actually know what he's talking about, which is deliberate. It's always...
Not all of it, not everyone, but a lot of it. And
I'm sorry to contradict him here, but like supporting Platner, the progressive anti-Zionist main senatorial candidate, does not make you a white savior. Like, I know he's just mixing up a bunch of stuff here to the point where nothing means anything, but like, it doesn't.
I'm tired of it. And I regret the fact that it took me to submit myself to racial abuse from a bunch of crack. One thing I said years ago before.
Dog, you can just say crackers. You don't have to go the C slur. You can just say crackers, man.
for any of this was serious is that once you've been around the block with so-called white allies, you recognize that they often don't care about you as much as they say they do. Again, word to Hubert Harrison, they just care that you represent a proxy for their fight against each other most of the time. They will use the premise that they're fighting for a good cause to troll other, usually white people that they don't like on Twitter. They'll literally act like Nazis, and then when people reasonably say, hey,
dude, if you're talking about specific people, just say the people, man. God, this is crazy. Genuinely, what is he talking about? He's mad at like Bad Empanada or something. I don't know why the fuck just say it. It is bitch made.
Stop that bullshit. They'll cry that they're being tone policed, and y'all are so unserious, and it's my fault for allowing that unseriousness to put me in this position.
It looks like I guess he's just going to talk about drama now.
Have to be, but like from y'all, it's just racism, because it's hard for y'all to imagine that there is a large enough black community to make my numbers number the way they do. And I want to be clear. I have videos intended for a white audience, and those videos tend to do great. But the vast majority of my...
I wonder, maybe I'd like one of his white boy videos. Maybe I'd like getting sent over to the white boy table would fix me. What's a video for a white audience? I'm curious.
Most watch videos on all of my channels are videos...
Yeah, SFW, safe for whites.
...focused on black culture. The white audience comes around only for the explicitly political videos, which is one of the reasons why Stop has over 3 million views. I do not need a white audience.
Like, he talks about his viewership a lot, man.
Don't mistake my cordiality at your presence for thinking you run shit here. Y'all's access to me.
That's dispelling a commonly held notion amongst longtime FD Signifier viewers that white people run the channel. Just really getting at the core of the issue here, you know?
Has been me trying to be a positive force in the space as much as I can manage to. For those who don't know...
Nebula. Okay, yeah, gotcha. All right. Damn, man, he is really insufferable. God almighty. As a white male, such and such. As a white male, I feel it's important for me to comment as a white male on every video in this channel. They really pushing a Blackwater mercenary and somehow believing he's not going to have imperialist tendencies. They really just want the Republican to win, man. Their positions are indistinguishable from those of Schumer or like the Democratic Senate committee-backed attacks on, like they're literally one and the same. Like they pretend they don't want the Republican to win, but they'll go after, like they'll employ the same disingenuous idpol attacks against Platner in an effort to smear his character. As a white male, I watched this video, parentheses, wait, no, hold on. This FD Signif, no, wait. Watching an FD Signifier video as a white male, parentheses, please put on second channel. There we go. Phew! Feels to me like this is the end result of idpol. Idpol was always like the polite term for what is essentially grievance politics. So many people have invested so much money and effort, most of them liberals, like reactionary liberals, trying to distract people from real issues and real solutions and turn you towards like just insipid infighting, just nonstop bickering and like, well, you have a correct point, but who are you to say that? Your skin color, your lived experience, your privilege, your blah, blah, blah. And it's like ultimately the goal here, it's all a CIA op. The goal here is to waste everyone's time. It's to make people ineffective, you know? It's the kind of shit that leads to like Twitter hate mobs over white women writing cookbooks involving noodles. It's not real. I am not and never have been a class reductionist, but like this is not progressivism. FD Signifier is one of those lefties who still talks about debate bros. Dog, he says the word bread to multiple times per video. It's crazy. It's crazy. FD had a debate with Bad Empanada, you know? Yeah, I hear they took turns calling each other me.